good model for neurons. First, what neurons are. Let's see one diagram. So, this is what a neuron is. That it can receive an input signal from this side, and it can transmit an output signal from this side. The signal is in a form of electrical voltage. So we have a corresponding electrical model for it. The input port and the axon has some resistance which is modeled with the resistance. The output port also has a resistance which is modeled with the resistance. Now this body is kind of sorted with the other neurons through a capacitor and a resistor. So this is what electrical equivalent of a neuron is. If we write the equations, we'll be getting a first order differential equations. The problem with this equation is that there are about 200 kind of ions flowing in, proteins and more number of ions flowing in, and it will be a set of equations. The other problem is that the number of inputs each neuron receives is very, very large. So each neuron is connected with around 10,000 neurons. So this equation will have lot of terms, each on the input side and at the synchronization side.
What is the state? What is the state variable?
Now the state variable is V. Okay. And these constants GL and EL are actually, they can be put as a function of the state variable V. So in order to complex the model,
what signifies this V? What is the meaning of the V actually? What does it mean?
It is the transmembrane potential, like from like here to here. If you measure the potential, it's the transmembrane potential. Is V.
Are you creating potential there?
This potential is being transferred to the next one.
V should be action potential, not transfer.
V when fires, it becomes the action potential. The firing potential is called action potential. When it is in a stable state, it's still V, but when it spikes, it's the action potential. So this is the differential equation model of it. I'll be more considering upon using 2D maps, because what the beauty of 2D maps is that even in 1D systems or 2D systems, they can capture a lot of information. Each of these constants can be like function of V and some probabilities of activation and deactivation units present in the system. In these equations, there are two kinds of variables operating. One is the slow variables, or like the slow ions. One is the faster ions. So always we'll be considering two variables, one slow and one fast. We have put G as a function of probability and the average values, and this P can be again a dynamic term. So what I actually mean is that this G is the second state variable, a kind of second state variable. One of the state variable is V, the other state variable is G. So the actual Hodgkin-Huxley's model will look like this. Like this. If we consider 3 ions at a time, 3 ions, the flow of ions amounting to current L at a time, then we can see that G is N4 is also dynamic, M is also dynamic, H is also dynamic. Hodgkin and Huxley have proposed that whatever, although it is a 4-dimensional system and it may have lot of bifurcations and instabilities, but in a neuron only 4 kinds of instability will be present. This one shows the concentration of ions actually determines the potential difference. So there are a lot of ions. Some of the ions are A plus and A minus. A ions are big molecules and cannot cross the, and they actually move very slowly. So they contribute to the slow variables. The potential looks like this, like it's a kind of spiky with a clustering occurrence. So one of the maps considered by Rykov for this is of this nature. So one being the faster variable and another being the slower variable, because mu is very very small, like 3 orders lower than what x is. So it becomes a faster and a slower variable. When we plot, when we iterate this xn plus 1, we can see some of the behaviors which occur like this. Initially, the initial point was the potential was 0, and we put some potential here, and it's spiking very fast. And then after a saddle node bifurcation occurs, it reaches into the bursting mode. Bursting mode is spiking and then gap, spiking and then gap. Another is just by change of this mu and sigma, which I'll tell what their physical meaning can be assigned to. By changing them, we get this a stable region. And another is that continuous spiking, periodic spiking region. The time duration of this bursting can be changed by varying the mu and sigma. This is the map of the faster variable at a particular taking the slower variable constant. So here we see there are 2 intersections. There will be 2 intersections. So one will be stable and one will be unstable. By change of the slower variable and the state and the constants, those 2 stable and unstable points merge together and give rise to saddle node bifurcation. Then the stable state of the system corresponds to this, and when a bifurcation occurs, it corresponds to this bursting kind of behavior. Here we can see that in this region, if the initial condition lies in this region, it's the trapping region. It always moves up, goes through this, and comes back into a periodic level. In this I have shown, like, suppose if we externally spike these 2 equations, then how they can behave. Now it's time to actually assign meaning to each of these variables. So xn is the map for the faster variable. It is actually x specifies the voltage levels. Yn is the slower variable and it is the voltage level due to slow moving ions. Mu is the factor by which y is slower than xn plus 1. And sigma is the external forced current received through different neurons on the input port. So if we that sigma input, if we give positive inputs, we see that these bursting behaviors coalesce into one. Okay, and if you give a single spike, we see that two bursting behaviors. But an interesting phenomena occurs when we give negative potential, that this bursting goes to a stable kind of state. This is the x variable. This one is the pulse which I am supplying, and this one is the slow variable. We see that slow variable doesn't move much with respect to the. So when we are giving the negative potential, then we can see that those bursts disappear. So one of the interesting phenomena to observe will be, like if we have many neurons, then it will always be that the output given by one neuron will be picked up by some neuron which has favorable system parameters, and others will not be taking part into the communication. So this I want to actually make it, and not two or more neurons in a series or a parallel combination. Okay. Then, if you want to look at the code,